Hey guys, Leo here. Guess y'all knew that though if you were already on the channel. I am in Lenore, West Virginia. And folks, I got something important to show you. I am at the spot, I'm at the site, I should say, of the old Lenore High School. Now some of y'all may remember our story. We did a story about Gertie and Andrew Marshall here. This was not only the site of the old historic school, this was also a murder scene. As you can see now, the building is completely gone. Just, you know, what you can see, little left of the foundation is all that's left now. The rest of it is gone, hauled away, never to be seen again. Now just think if we hadn't did that video that we did up here. This whole story would have been lost to time now, wouldn't it?
So this is Lenore High School. So the date is January 14th, 1938. It was a cold afternoon in Lenore, West Virginia. Lenore is a small Appalachian town of less than 1,000 people. It was about 4:30 in the afternoon when shots rang out in the high school. This is the high school. So today we are here to bring you this really strange story that we just kind of stumbled across. And what I find really weird about it is that there's not a whole lot of information about it. And to me, especially for 1938 or any time period, it's kind of a big deal.
This here is about all that's left of the old school, and you can see right there, we'll go by it in a second, you can see that's where you go down to the basement. You can see the old basketball court here, but anyhow, the victims were Andy Marshall, 55, and his wife Gertie or Gertrude, 52. Mr. and Mrs. Marshall were shot to death in the hallway of Lenore High School, where they were working as janitors. The gun wielder was Willie McGuire, a 35-year-old section worker and former Hardy District Constable and husband of their daughter, Polly Marshall. Or more students of Lenore High School who were preparing to go home witnessed the shooting. They ran or jumped out of range of the bullets. Some of them even jumped through the windows. And right there is how you get down to the basement. You'll see in a minute. That figures into our story in just here in a second. McGuire, estranged from his wife, went to the school and found her mother, Mrs. Marshall, in the hallway. After an argument which lasted a few minutes, McGuire shot his mother-in-law, police said. Marshall, who was working in the basement, heard the firing and came up to investigate, only to be killed by McGuire, according to police. Anyway, Marshall, who was shot in the right side and the bullet ranged across his body into the lower pelvic region, death ensued while he was being transported to the Williamson Hospital. He didn't make it. Only a few seconds elapsed between the two shootings. After quitting that work that day at the railroad, Willie McGuire is reported to have made inquiries in the neighborhood about his wife, and when he failed to obtain any information, he went to school to ask her parents. Look at that. This completely, you can see the windows. There used to be big windows here. They're all blocked off. We'll go around the side here in a second. Encountering Gertie in the hallway, Willie is believed to have accused her of causing the separation. There was a heated argument and then the shooting. McGuire hurried away from the scene of the shooting and disappeared into the woods about 100 yards from the school. He was the object of an intensive manhunt for 3 days and was thought to have ended his life. Oh, okay. Got somebody telling us we could go in and look around if we want. Was thought to have ended his life. He then gave himself up Sunday. He had sent word through a relative he would surrender if a 14-man posse was called in. He came to the Mingo County Jail at Williamson with his father, John McGuire of Lenore. He told officers that he had been hiding out in the woods since the slaying. A murder charge was brought against McGuire, and it was indicated that a special grand jury may be convened to hear the case. What happened after is a mystery.
Hello everybody in YouTube. We are revisiting a story today. I told the family that I would do an update on some information that came to us after we did the story. Considering the story is from 1938, we didn't really expect to hear from any of the family, but we heard from several grandchildren, which is really awesome, and we were able to put some closure on some of the aspects of the case, and people were very, very interested in this. You just never know when you do these stories which ones are just going to take off and catch on fire and which ones are just going to kind of lay there, but this one certainly took off. This is about the Gertrude and Andrew who were killed by their son-in-law Willie in 1938. So what we were trying to do was to find where they were buried, and it just said Lenore Cemetery, and the problem is there's a Lenore Memorial Park, but they're not there. They're in Lenore Cemetery, which we just happened to get lucky and find the old Lenore Cemetery in the video, and we did get verification that they are buried there, which is really exciting. But this is some of the information that we got. And this is Beulah Thompson. These were my grandparents, my mom's parents. Willie was married to my mom's sister Polly. He murdered my grandparents, his in-laws, because Aunt Polly left him and he went to the school to ask where she was. I guess he just lost it and killed my grandparents. And my Aunt Chloe was there also. She ended up very depressed and mental, but who wouldn't have to witness losing their parents by a cold-blooded killer? Nonetheless, your sister's husband, from what my mom said, he was very controlling, and Aunt Polly was afraid of him and afraid he would kill her family, so she took him back. We never got to know our grandparents, but we would have loved to have known them. Also, my mom said their graves, and it goes on to say, is up behind the school. This is from Judy. Andrew and Gertrude Marshall are my grandparents. They're buried up behind the school somewhere. Their next to youngest daughter was my mom, Justine Marshall. She was 14 when they got killed. Gertrude was a Maynard before marrying my grandfather. I was told Willie, who's the son-in-law, spent 11 years for murdering them, and when he got out, his wife Polly took him back because he put death threats on her family if she didn't. All their children are deceased now. They still have grandkids living. I'm one of them. Sad story. I do have pictures of them both. I got them when my mom passed away. I just wish I had not been denied the privilege of knowing my grandparents. I was told they were wonderful. And then over here, we have Sue Workman. I took care of Chloe at the nursing home and loved her so much. She would say, sure, she knew my uncle and aunt when I asked her, bless her little heart. Yes, seems like I remember behind the school to the left. I was in high school. I assume that's talking about where they're buried. Now, I did find that one headstone that had Marshall on it, and I just feel in my heart like it's connected to them. And of course, Chloe, which on her headstone says Chloa, is who they're talking about, which would be Andy and Gertie's daughter. And why I call them Andy and Gertie is because that's the way it's listed on when you look them up on Ancestry. That seems to be what they went by when they did census and things, so it seems to be the name they prefer. But either way, it gives a little bit of closure, and we can see their pictures. And I would like to go back to that cemetery and explore a little bit more. And reason being, I noticed when I put together, you know, we did do a video of the whole cemetery after this video, which I'll put both of the links in the description. I did see something that said McGuire on it. Now that's Willie's last name, and we just didn't catch it at the time. So is possibly Polly or Willie buried there? Interesting, huh? But you know, domestic violence and things like that, they weren't taken very serious, especially then. I mean, they really are kind of taken a little bit more serious now, but people die every single day from this. It isn't a joke. And it definitely is something that I'm sure Polly lived in horror with every single day. If she took this man back and slept in her bed with this man every night, knowing he killed her parents, I just can't even imagine the hell that she went through. But either way, I just wanted to update this real quick for people that were interested, and thank everybody for the support and sharing this video. And I'm really glad that we're able to bring Gertie and Andrew back just for a little while and tell their story, because it deserves to be told. And I appreciate the family reaching out to us and being supportive. And it's pretty much all I wanted to say. So everyone have a really great day, and we will see you next time on the Hillbilly Files.
This right here, what you're looking at, this empty lot right here, is the exact reason that we do what we do. You see, sooner or later, all of these old historic sites, sooner or later, something's going to happen. Unless they're, you know, placed on the National Register of Historic Sites or something unusual happens to cause them to be preserved. This is the outcome that they all face. Nothingness, just like us. This historic site, this murder site, is now lost to history. It's gone. But at least it still lives on through our video. You know, you can still go back and look at our video, and you can see the old building, hear what happened, the old tales, and the history isn't lost. It's destroyed, but it isn't totally lost. And if you'll remember, the old graveyard is right over there, right behind that house, right over there. But anyway, I guess, like I said, I just wanted to stop here for just a moment to kind of point something out, you know, to make a point that, you know, you can use. YouTube is, I love YouTube. YouTube is awesome. You know, you can use it to play video games. You can use it to do almost anything you want. You can fix your car. But you can also use it to preserve our history and share these old stories, these old tales, you know, with you guys. And then when something like this happens, the history's not really lost. It's just moved. Anyway, excuse me, sorry. I guess I better get on out of here. I just wanted to stop for a second. I was going by here. I was down the road doing another story, and happened to notice that the old school was gone. So I thought I'd stop right here just for a minute to show you guys, and, you know, kind of point out, I guess, that a lot of our videos are frivolous. A lot of them are silly. I know that. But a lot of them are important too, to a lot of people. Anyway, guys, we'll see you next time on the Hillbilly Files. We'll go home and see what story Heather's got cooked up for me next. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a really good day. Leo out.